Colin Dixon with nScreenMedia, and I'm at IBC 2015. I'm sitting with Simon Frost, who's head of TV marketing at Ericsson. And Simon, I think one of the really big themes at the show is cloud computing. And of course, Ericsson, you have a great solution for cloud computing TV platforms. So why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Absolutely. So this time last year we made the acquisition announcement of Fabric Systems. So that's really given us a grid computing, cloud storage and processing capabilities in terms of processing, storing, managing video, whose primary applications are VOD and cloud DVR. And that was building out the AV plane, if you like, the delivery network piece that's shifting to all adaptive bitrate. And the acquisition announcement we just made of Invivio as well is to add into that, and that helps us really in that area. But we can touch on that as well. But I think there's a lot of aspects of how do we store, process, and manage video in a very flexible way to deliver those bits to all these different new screens and devices. But of course, you need a control layer, control plane. You need a piece on top of that, which also then delivers the UX, the UI, allows the operators and the TV service providers to innovate on top of, with very agile business processes. You know, how can we have an agile back end and then have a very agile front end that very much allows innovation in front towards the consumers, that delights these TV consumers, and of course then hooks into this video delivery network, because it's got to do everything from probably regional insertion to ad insertion to dynamic session setup and tear down, all kinds of mind-boggling things you can imagine in the all IP domain. So I think cloud plays a big role in that.
And we spend a lot of time thinking about what this means from the perspective of delivering to everybody who wants to deliver. The most efficient way, of course, is to put this in the cloud so that you can easily reach all of the endpoints. But this concept of flexibility is a really key one for cloud delivery, right? And we were talking about this just before. Give us a couple of examples of how this delivers flexibility, and how having these flexible computing platforms can be really used in a real service.
Okay, and I agree. So I think cloud is a technology. We talk about cloud. For me, we should be talking about the business benefits or the needs that technology then enables. So it's all about agility, and I think it's also about efficiency. That's what cloud really does. So agility, especially from the user experience point of view, because our consumer lab studies show us we have to have true innovation of how to aggregate, present, and personalize and make seamless the discovery of amazing content. So there has to be true innovation at that level. It needs to be really, really fast, and I think cloud enables that speed. But of course, underneath that, we have to become a lot more flexible and a lot more efficient with how do we process and manage video as it shifts from linear to on-demand, and how do we store it and process it and deal with that. So a great example is our storage and processing platform really allows you to take a large array of COTS, standard off-the-shelf servers, and utilize all of the CPU and utilize all of the disks. And of course, you're going to have extremely different times where a large amount of ingest may be extremely important if a lot of people record a show at the same time. And then when you get peaks in playback, you've suddenly got a lot of streaming. So you may have a lot of edge transcoding, for example, or a lot of adaptation. So it's an extremely dynamic array of utilization of that hardware. So if we know we've got very different times, it's all the solutions have to be about how do I utilize to the maximum possible area the disks and the CPU cycles, no matter what sort of function that is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, and actually it plays very well to the Invivio acquisition, right? Because they're a pure software encoder.
Exactly. So we had the platform to do all the storage and the processing. We have our CDN, so we have our MDN capabilities, the media delivery network. So we've got the capability to then all IP distribute this to cache, to accelerate, to edge filter, to do lots of to build that fabric, that all IP fabric. What the pure software play of Invivio gives us is a great algorithm that will run on 8086. It runs basically on CPU cycles, so we can take the algorithmic capabilities of encoding, transcoding, and video processing, and put that into the fabric that we can create with our storage and processing platform.
Yep, and it's in that flexible computing platform environment, and so can be applied or not as needed, right?
Yeah, and it really completes our cloud capabilities.
Sure does. Now, there was another very exciting announcement, which I'm not sure how much we can actually say about, but it's AT&T and DirecTV, right?
Absolutely. So we announced at IBC that we've been extremely proud that AT&T has selected Ericsson to be their transformation partner for their journey on how to bring together the best aspects of DirecTV and AT&T Uverse, because obviously we, as Ericsson, power the AT&T Uverse service with our media room proposition. So we're very, very excited about that.
And well, I don't even know where to begin about the possibilities there. They're obviously very, very different environments. Uverse is a telco environment, a managed network telco environment. Of course, DirecTV is a satellite environment. So the possibilities of smoothing these two services and bringing some of the infrastructure together, really exciting, right? It must be got a lot of people very excited inside the company to even be working on that project. Hugely
excited. I mean, AT&T and DirecTV, enormous pioneers in both their own fields, with driving the success of pay TV and having, huge amounts of innovation in that area as well. So, I think customers get the best out of Ericsson when we work with the most pioneering customers, and what a delight to be working with these two pioneering customers. Indeed, very exciting, very exciting. And you have a couple of customer wins, I think, for your network DVR solution, right? Yes, we announced at the show that we've expanded our working with Swisscom. So Swisscom, we now power their cloud DVR service, their video on demand service as well. They're doing 7-day replay on over 250 channels. They've got an infinite archive service. It's an amazingly innovative service. I mean, from a consumer perspective, I would love to have this service. It's just so amazing. It really is. One of the problems with DVR is it's very, very difficult to explain how it works. As soon as you make it network DVR, you can now just turn on those services, right? And going back to your flexibility, this really is, I think, the beauty of cloud implementations, right? Particularly for the DVR. Yeah, and we talk about cloud DVR as if it's a focus of the death of the set-top box, or getting cost driven out of the set-top box, and of course the operational efficiency of getting that disk out of the set-top box, and a lot of that is the driver. I mean, it is very cost positive in that way. But for me, we often don't talk enough about service differentiation. So, we're already seeing the little arms race of the new set-top box generation will come out, and perhaps they're offering 4 tuners, and I can record 3 things simultaneously, or 6 things simultaneously. I mean, when you move to a cloud DVR deployment, it's a software key change to say, we'll record 20 things if you want next week. You will always outpace your competitors once you move it to a software-defined infrastructure, and not rely on a 2-year cycle of a set-top box, which you've then got to replace in the field anyway, which is a nightmare. So, you outpace your competitors instantly with cloud-based services. It seems to be the key theme of this show: speed and agility. Right? Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Simon, thanks very much for your very informative comments as always, and have a great show. Thank you, Colin. This has been Colin Dixon with nScreenMedia.